a cover of Nightwish. Nightwish Wishmaster male version cover. This will be interesting. So I love Dan singing, but I have no idea what words he's using right now. I love Dan's voice. Really, really cool. Really great voice. Super, super fun. So we talked about hooking, right? It's making that operatic sound for male voices without actually using the operatic technique. Notice what happens when he does that. Guys, none of this is to discount Dan singing. He does everything really, really perfectly for what he does. Just as an opera singer, I want to supply a little bit of perspective because he's matching the color of the song really nicely from how it's sung. I assume how it's sung normally. I assume this is an operatic part of the song when whoever's singing this will engage that operatic, more round, more resonant sound. And he's using his voice to create the idea of that texture. But notice what happens to his tongue. I talk all the time about how Dan's teeth and Dan's resonance is being used very optimally, but look what happens to his tongue when he goes into that darker baritonal cover sound. Especially when the pitch increases. Not only down, Raven, but back. The tongue pulls back, which is a way to achieve that dark color, but we don't really gain anything in the sense that darkening the tone, because normally if you get that darker tone, you get a more richness in the sound. When Dan does it, we don't get that richness because he pulls the tongue back, which restrains the larynx. We do get that darker color, which is captured very nicely by the dynamic microphone that he's using. He's using it very intelligently, and we're getting that proper color for this section. I just want to work against any misconceptions in how that timbre kind of works in general as a singer. Because if you're going to mimic Dan and expecting a certain result, if you're not singing how he's singing completely, you're gonna risk hurting yourself a little bit, hurting your voice, not doing your voice the most favors, I should say. However, Dan's entire integrated technique works really well that way. So I just wanted to clarify a little bit of kind of how it's working. But notice his sweet spot is really that higher range, and you can see his tongue forward, his teeth are showing that sound has much more clarity, and it has even more of a deep sonic profile when he's singing in that higher range with that brassiness in his voice, right? And I think that suits it really well. Not to say he doesn't do a good job in those other colors. I just prefer this forward, more bright sound from him. This sound. Capriani, I completely agree. You have to appreciate the courage for covering a Nightwish song because the bar is very, very high. Absolutely. And I think he meets it very nicely. Really, really smart singing here for his voice. He has a very cultivated, very specific technique that's not the kind of thing you can replicate very easily. It works for him very, very well, and he's doing an amazing job because you're right. The army is not very forgiving. But he's crushing it. All in all, like, crushing it. Very athletic singing. Very athletic. Everything he's doing is underlined by an awesome coordination of breath pressure and articulatory calmness that's allowing the sound to stay up there without getting tense in here. He's so open and so athletic with his singing. That's what this is about. That's what makes this work. The perfect bagpipe. I guess that's what the voice is, because I think the bagpipe it replicates how the human voice works too. It's the same idea. Nice presence in the interlude. Nice presence in the interlude. Very good. There was right here, it's gonna happen. So when he goes up for those high notes, notice his posture aligning really nicely. He aligns his posture, because I think what a lot of people don't remember while they're singing is how important keeping an alignment, especially in the neck and those top 7 vertebrae, with the voice is. When I'm doing when I have to sing some crazy high notes, I always have to make sure the first thing I do is align myself. And aligning without creating any tension, which means that you have to rely on those muscles in the spine. Now, Dan is an incredibly athletic person. You can tell he's got those muscles. You can tell he thinks a lot about aligning his body and staying in shape. The muscles that line the spine are very, very vital when it comes to singing with good posture, because you have to basically feel like your spine is holding up, your rib cage is holding up your viscera down below, so that all of the other muscles can do their part in the breathing process and in keeping pressure off of the neck, keeping pressure off of the skull, like all of these muscles in your head and stuff. You need to stay relaxed up here, and you have to rely on your spine. Dan does a really good job every time he goes up for one of those high belty notes to stay upright every time he goes for it. Beautiful. And I love that it's such a, he has so much dynamism in his body when he sings, which is A, really entertaining to watch, and B, contributes a lot to his ability to sustain that much energy without getting tight, right? If you're going to be active, you're better off being active when you're singing intensely than you are trying to stand still and do it.
Hey, my friends, here I
Hi,
am
Dan.
in my retro gaming room playing
Very
some
cool.
Mario 64. You know,
Okay.
to me, after a hard day of work, sitting down in front of a classic game, there's nothing more relaxing and peaceful.
Dan.
And hey, I did more Nightwish because you requested, so keep
Okay.
letting me know what you want me to cover on this channel, and I'll do what I can to bring that to you if I enjoy the music. I hope to see you next time.
Cool.
Until then, my friends, have yourselves an epic day.
Thank you, Dan. Ooh, the last ride of the day. Nice. So, yeah, great stuff from Dan, as always. Always a big fan of Dan. He's trained in a very specific way. He's found a technique that matches his voice really well, and he has such a unique sound because of that. I would hesitate to encourage anyone to mimic the style he's singing in, because he does a really good job of making it work, but it's a really aggressive way of singing. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And if you have any more questions on how to do that, we can talk about it on Friday when we do our vocal clinics. So anyway, I'd love to talk to him about it. Actually, I want to learn more about how he has approached his singing, because it's really unique and really fantastic and wonderful. Yeah, definitely no point singing something you don't enjoy. I agree. You hate Mario. Yeah, Mario is I've had many frustrating hours playing those Mario 64.